Hi everybody, this is the recording equipment that we're going to be using in Irish and Britain's 50th anniversary project, and we're going to show you a video of exactly how you will use this, and this will be the recording equipment that you use when undertaking your oral history interviews.
Right, so I'm going to talk you through some of the items inside the box and how to use them. So this is the Zoom H5 recorder. It comes with batteries, 2 AA batteries. We're also sending you the SD card. There are some other items that you don't need to use, but there's things like the cable for connecting it to the computer, connecting it to a USB. There's also an AV power plug. When you're carrying out the interviews, it's really important that you use batteries, because the AV power plug creates a bit of a humming noise which distracts from the interview. So use batteries to do the recording, but if you want to do playback, for instance, or something like that, you can use the AV plug to plug it in. Right, so I'll show you how to use the recorder and make sure it's set up properly for the interviews. Okay, so when you get the recorder, first thing you need to do is to put the batteries in. So the battery case is on the back. And we'll send spare batteries to each equipment hub. But if you need to buy more, then let us know and we can expense them. I got these the right way around. Okay, now you can switch the recorder on. The power button's on the side, it's down here. And if you just hold the knob down and it starts up, and it's the same way to turn it down as well, to turn it off as well. So the first thing that flashed up was saying no SD card. So you need to put the SD card in. You do that on this side, open up the flap, and you put it in with the wording facing up till it clicks. So now you want to format the SD card. Click on the menu button on the side and you scroll down with the wheel until you get to SD card. You press in the wheel and you click on format. This wipes the SD card and makes sure that the format is ready for recording. So once it's formatted, we can check that the recording mode is all correct. So what we want to use is stereo file if we're using the inbuilt mics. If we're using external microphones that plug in here, we'd select multi-file, but we're using these microphones, so click on stereo. And then we need to check that the recording format is correct. So in record, click on recording format, and it's this 48 kilohertz 16-bit. So we go back and we're ready to test the volume sound now. So we're going to check the volume levels, and the way we do that is by using the headphones. So the headphone socket is the green one on the side, and there's also the volume next to that. And the headphones that we're sending out, you need to take off this, I don't know what to call it, screw, because this is the auxiliary plug that fits into the recorder. It's useful to keep the headphones on during the oral history interview because you can really hear what's being recorded with the headphones. So if there's any kind of external noise or humming or kind of anything really, you kind of pick it up in these headphones first. So plug the headphones into the green socket and what you can do is lay it down on the foam pad. This way it kind of insulates it from external sounds. Then the levels on the front of the recorder, you want it to be peaking at about -12 and no higher than -6. And if it's peaking too high, you can turn it down here. So it ranges from 1 to 10, so you can turn it down slightly. And if it's peaking too low, you can turn it up. That will make sure that the recording level is at the right kind of volume so that people can hear the oral history interview on playback. So it should be peaking about -12, a little over is fine as well, but if I wanted it to be low, I can just turn this down and it will go lower. And just be careful of the cable because the microphones are very, very sensitive, so any kind of bashing on the table, it will pick that up. So try and keep it as still as possible and make sure it's off the table. So now we're ready to do a test of the volume. So we're going to do a bit of a recording, ask a couple of questions, and then stop it and listen to it back to check that it's recording properly. I'm going to turn the levels up a little bit so that it's peaking a bit higher. And when we're using these microphones, we want the left and right lights to be switched on there. If it's not on, then we need to click one of them and they'll both come on. The 1 and 2 is for external microphones if we're using 1 or 2 external microphones. And these are the volume level adjusters for the external microphones. So now that we're ready to do a test, I'm going to press the record key. And I'm going to ask, what's your name and where were you born?
My name is Susan Cahill and I was born in the Bonds Hospital in Cork City, in the Republic of Ireland.
And can you tell me something about your childhood, first memories?
So I think my first memories is probably when I was about 2 in the back seat of my mum and dad's car driving to my grandparents' house, my mum's parents, who lived in Mallow in North Cork. And I remember sitting in the back seat and being told, we're going to visit Nana and Grandad, and being excited. And then driving into their driveway, and they used to always come out to meet the car. So we were driving into the driveway and seeing Nana and Grandad come out to greet us and being very excited to see them.
Great, so I'm going to pause that there, or I'm going to stop it. So the red light, that's when it's recording, will switch off, but these level lights will stay on. Now I can listen to it back by pressing play, and I can check that the volume is okay. Make sure when you're recording that the red light is always on, because this will show that the track is recording, and you can keep an eye here on the length of time for that track. Also keep an eye on the sound levels during the recording as well, because someone might start speaking more quietly or more loudly, and you might need to adjust the sound levels appropriately. If you're going to pause for a break, don't press the pause button but press stop, because then this will start a new track when you start recording again. This helps to keep track of where you've taken breaks and where exactly in the interview those breaks come. Something else to add is that you can put the you can click hold here, so that will make sure that anything you press, if you press something by accident, it doesn't actually affect it, it continues recording. But again, that's optional because you might forget that you've got it on hold and wonder why it's not stopping. Once you press stop, the audio file will save automatically onto the SD card. And you can switch the equipment off by holding down the hold button here away from you for a couple of seconds.